Okay, this section of real estate lead generation companies ranked categorically is real estate lead generation without a website. In other words, yes, the leads come off a website, but it's not a website that you own or that you lease or that you rent. This is somebody else's website, and all you're doing is you're paying literally for a lead. Now, there's 3 names on this list. It's a short list because most real estate lead generation companies are providing websites or leveraging different tools. So it's an easy conversation to have about who's on this list and who's the best. So we have to talk about Zillow first and foremost, of course. They're the big boys in this sandbox. However, interestingly enough, in my experience, Zillow is not necessarily the best provider based on ROI. Zillow is, however, the best provider based on ease of use and quickness of results. So if you want to know why they're number 1 on my list when they might not be the most profitable company to do business with, it's because, number 1, they're hot transferring the leads over to you. Okay, now Zillow is this mammoth real estate lead generation company, and they have numerous plans going on inside them. They have the Flex plan, and they've got a board of directors, which are basically top performing agents that use them. Zillow is a very big and large, complex beast, but I'll tell you some interesting stuff about Zillow. A lot of the decisions that they've been making are based on a fact that came to light, which is that 60% of Zillow leads go uncalled. All right? They don't get called, which is weird, right? Because you're paying a ton of money. I have clients ranging from $600 a month all the way up to $70,000, okay, with Zillow. And it's interesting because the higher the budget, the higher the spend, usually the smaller the ROI percentage. So my experience with people running Zillow accounts is that the higher they get up the ladder, the less profit they actually make. Now, in lead generation in general, but especially with Zillow, we're watching the effectiveness of leads go down in general. So the numbers that were good a year ago or 2 years ago are not good today. We're at the end of a boom market. So when you're having me rank, or when I'm ranking real estate lead generation companies, you need to be really aware of the fact that all real estate lead generation is being impacted by the fact that we're at the end of a 12 or 13 year boom market, and we're being highly impacted by COVID. First, people are stuck in the house and they can't get out and buy real estate. Then they get let out of the house and they go and they buy everything they can get their hands on. And so our industry is going through some one-of-a-kind upheaval, which affects all of these real estate lead generation companies, myself included. So Zillow is still top on the list, though. If you have some money to invest, Zillow has a very good chance of hot transferring calls to you almost in the immediacy. And their reasoning for these hot transfer calls, which is why I launched into that story, was because with all those leads not getting called, they wanted somebody to call them. The problem that they're finding is that maybe 60% was a real number, but there's a lot of realtors out there that can look at a name and a telephone number and a very small amount of information, and based on 20 or 30 years experience in selling real estate, they can qualify the lead. Okay, I'm not saying you should do that in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that I know certain of my clients that do, and they won't call. Now, time they're going to be right. Every once in a while, they're going to be wrong. And if you're a new and hungry salesperson, of course, you call everything that you've just spent your money on and try to get them to give you referrals and 1,000 other things. But if you're a realtor who's already making a ton of money and you haven't bothered to hire yourself an assistant or an ISA to call everything for you, you probably don't necessarily call each and every single thing that you have the opportunity to call. So having said all that, Zillow should return. The top accounts that I have are returning maybe a 4 or 5 to 1. I think my average account is more like 2 to 1, which kind of puts Zillow at the very lowest end of the ROI spectrum. Why do people keep using it? Why are they so popular? Because they're the easiest. You can pay them $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000. Your phone will ring. It'll be prospective clients, and onwards you go. All right. Their leads right now, if I had to average them out, are probably 1 in 20, 1 in 30 in terms of conversion. So you're going to have a fairly decent account set up, and I don't have too many realtors in too many markets setting the world on fire with Zillow. I have one or two. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I am saying that there are far fewer and far fewer between than they were a couple years ago. I do have one account where I'm waiting for the final numbers to come in, but it's looking more probably like he's going to be at the high end of the spectrum with a 4 to 5 to 1 return on investment, maybe even higher. So, like I said, it does exist, and anything that's returning you better than 3 to 4 to 1 in your money is giving you one of the best results that you can get in real estate marketing. Okay, so if you're able to spend $1 and make 3 or make 4, that is an amazing deal for you as a real estate agent. Now, what comes in between that is that some of these services require lots of extra effort to get to the sale. Like you could have to have CRMs and additional layers of the marketing system in place. And so, yes, you can get the return, but there's work between you and the result. Same thing with my service. And that's part of what this list categorically is supposed to be identifying for you is there work? So even though you know walking in that a good return for Zillow is 2 or 3 to 1, and that you could see another service that might be 6 to 1, you still might choose Zillow because the other service might very well just require a lot more work to get a good result. Next up on the list is realtor.com. I'm pretty sure that all of you know who they are. Realtor.com generates almost all of their leads. They have a couple of other companies they own. It's not like this is their only company anymore. There are a whole series of companies, but in general speaking, in a very broad sense, Realtor.com generates most of their leads off this website. Okay, and they rank very well for lots of terms, but they're not nearly as relevant as, like if we do Los Angeles real estate, we'll probably find Realtor.com there somewhere. Zillow, Realtor.com right below them. See what I mean? So they're there, and Redfin right below them, and then maybe Homes.com, or actually no, Trulia is still even right. And then you get big brokerages, right? You get you get basically technology companies focused on this kind of stuff, spending millions of dollars in SEO and optimization, and then you get these other guys, basically. And then, of course, somewhere down here, funnily enough, if you just look just a little bit farther, you'll start to discover there are brokerages starting to move in on the top results again because SEO has changed. Okay, there's a lot of different things that have made that make SEO different, and meaning that if you have something that's wildly useful, that's more useful than some of these other sites, you can actually beat them even on top tier searches. It's a new development inside the SEO space, which is why a Sierra Interactive website is on the first page, right along with Homes.com, The Real Deal, Century 21, Sotheby's. These top search results, the top 3 or 4, are still real tough to crack, like in any major market. But to say that you can't get on the first page, not really true. You absolutely could with a standard real estate website if you did the right things to it and you invested some time and energy. It wouldn't be immediate, of course, but you could compete. So Realtor.com generates their leads the same way. I have clients using them too. I think my highest client spends, I don't know what his budget is exactly, but I know it ranges between $7,000 and $14,000. They've done a great job at delivering quantities of leads. I think the last time I spoke to him, which was a while ago, but he got about 600 for that money. I don't have as many clients using Realtor.com as I do Zillow, so my numbers are a little bit more speculative. But if we're using him as an example, usually 600 leads would translate to between 14 and 20 transactions. So the conversion rate is still very difficult, and he has the same challenge. These are not hot transfers. These are just leads. He's routing them through 5 Street, sending them to a lead pond, and then his agents are theoretically calling them. But the truth is, his greatest frustration is he can't get his agents to call all the leads that he has, which is, I'm sure, going to be mind-blowing for most of you brokers out there and small team owners. But it is a consistent complaint that I get from larger teams who are spending more money on leads, is that they actually can't get them all called. They can't actually get their agents to contact these leads properly. which is like a lead richness problem, and definitely a sales management challenge. You need a team of hungry people who are willing to work hard. But I'll leave that for another conversation. So number 3 on the list is, but realtor.com is also less expensive than Zillow in terms of their market. So you're not getting as good of a lead. It's not hot transferred, but I think the conversion numbers are roughly the same anyway, 1 in 20, 1 in 30. And certainly because it's a second platform, you might be able to find a little bit more room here in terms of advertising, like in terms of zip codes that might be available and stuff like that. So it's worth a look if you're looking for the simple, I don't own anything, I don't have a website, I don't have any problems. Realtor.com would be one place to look at. Now, I'm going to say this consistently throughout all these videos. A smart agent or team is going to have many lead sources. That's why I rank this stuff categorically. That's why I do so much different information on real estate lead generation, is because in theory, you probably want anywhere from 4 to 20 lead sources over time, over the span of your career, building up your career. And like referrals would be a lead source, like your past clients is a lead source, but email marketing is a lead source. These different real estate website providers, mine included, that's a lead source. Zillow, realtor.com, those are lead sources. You know, even if you're just a small realtor trying to do business, you want to test different things over time, figure out a few different lead sources that work for you, and make sure that you've got those going along with a strong marketing to your existing database effort. That way your business is rock solid, growing by 10 to 20% per year, which is what it should be growing in real estate. So especially, it's a no-brainer, really. So the last of the Bold Leads. Bold Leads doesn't have a website. So there is no website to look at. I think all my logins for Bold Leads have now expired. I don't think I have anything anyway necessary left to get in here. I might be wrong. Oh, hold on. No, can't get in anymore. But what Bold Leads is basically is they put a advertisement on Facebook. They're a Facebook marketer specifically. They probably can use or leverage PPC, I would imagine. I've done a huge review on my website. I probably have all this stuff answered. It's just been a minute. So you get sponsored advertisements over here, which would be like, what is my home worth, or something like that. You click on it, you go to a landing page, and what Bold Leads is it's a very, very nice looking CRM lead management system. But there's no website. There's landing pages, a single page that's up somewhere. You don't have a website. All your leads are being driven by single digital properties. In terms of the usability of the back end, most of what, like, I think my Bold Leads review is like years old, and I still stand by it. It's still a good system. It's still a good starting system. Still like very inexpensive in comparison with Zillow. You're looking at spending probably anywhere from $600 to, I would say an average Zillow budget is probably $1,500 to $2,000. And Realtor.com is not far less than that. You can get away with $800 to $1,600, but it's slightly less. Bold Leads is $600. Now the lead quality is probably less, 1 in 50, 1 in 60. So you really either have to have an ISA or you have to have the mentality that you just need some names and numbers to get a hold of, and you start calling people because they will have registered with the site. Some of them will talk to you. So there is a chance to have conversations that are slightly better than cold calling, but not much. And actually, you know what? I was just talking about cold calling, and I just instantly in that one moment decided to add another real estate lead generation service to the list. Now, this is a very, very different type of service. This is Ricky Carr, 0 to Diamond. What Ricky does is it's not really a service. Ricky gives us away for free. So even though it's on my list of real estate lead generation without a website, with this definitely is that. But it's Ricky showing you how to do circle prospecting using cold calling. Okay, and he does it all for free. He has a huge YouTube channel, tens of thousands, if not more, hundreds of thousands of visits, and people who've trained with him. It's incredible. And he does it all for free. He asks that you use his tools. And you can see here his success. He's got agents that have been using him and testing his methods out, and you'll discover that they've all basically made money. And the best part is, again, is that you can do this without necessarily spending a nickel. Now, so I think that Ricky is a great resource for people that are looking for maybe an alternative to generate leads. He definitely has been selling, making $1 million in commission selling real estate himself. He gets on the phone and shows you how he does it. And he still uses old school methodologies to generate his business, which he gets on the phone and hammers out calls. He just does it like there are still guys, Wall Street brokers, real estate agents, get on the phone for a few hours a day, and they hammer out calls, and they basically add some new people into their queue. And, you know, with him, it's like he's sold units inside certain buildings, so it's easy. At a certain level, you could probably make 10 or 20 calls and get a decent lead every day. That's it. So it's not that hard once you have the skills and the experience to do it, which he does. So 0 to Diamond is number 4 on my list. Okay, it's definitely real estate lead generation without a website. Now, there's tons of others. This category could get mammoth, like mailers and all sorts of things. The problem that I would have is that I don't have personal experience with him. The way that I know Ricky is that he came on my podcast. I have then probably consumed personally maybe 10 or 20 hours worth of his material. I can tell you for sure, as a person selling on the phone for 35 years, that he's using solid tactics, that he's good, that he's disciplined, that his information is valuable. So all the things I'm recommending are things that are on my list, are things that I have deep personal experience with. I'm not just randomly picking them or re-reviewing them because they're on other people's lists. I'm putting them there because I have experience with these services. So, and I have a couple people that have been following Ricky's coaching programs and know that to some degree they feel they're effective, but that degree tends to be based on their embracing of his material. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, this is real estate lead generation companies that generate leads without a website. All right? Also, one last thing. Please, these take a lot of time. The videos take a lot of time. You know, I at this point have 3 or 4 people help me, like create, develop, and produce my content. So there's lots of work, money, effort that goes into creating these videos. All I'm looking for from the people that are consuming them is, were they helpful? Is there anything that you saw is there things that you saw, questions that you have that I didn't answer? Or anyway, if you found this helpful in any way, shape, or form, thumbs the video up, please, or leave me a comment. Tell me that you liked the video, that was helpful to you. For those of you that might be looking for some kind of lead generation service, if for some reason you think that I can help you, and there will be more information about me and my company in other categories, but you are always welcome to reach out and contact me. It's not what the point or the purpose of these videos are, though. They're here and developed to try to help you to categorically understand where these lead generation services might fall for you personally. Okay? Thanks for tuning in.